have no idea how to open a podcast, but let's just see. I haven't thought of these types of words before. This is fun. Well, first of all, thank you, Sharon, for joining me this morning. Reversing our roles, revolving it around, and I get a chance to find out a little bit about you. So, bit of a backdrop is that we connected maybe sometime in some moons ago. We connected, and you reached out, or I reached out, or somehow on Instagram. And my name's Ruby, and I own Zensi Retreat. I'm the co-founder, and I'm a holistic practitioner, and that's definitely up Sharon's realms of exploration and conversations with different people out there. And so, yeah, we had a really beautiful conversation whilst I was living in Peru for a year last year. And throughout that, I think at the end of the conversation, I was thinking, you know what, we should switch this and see what wants to happen. So this is my first time asking questions and being on this side. So welcome, Sharon, to your own podcast. And thank you for being my guest.
Thank you, Ruby. Thank you so much. I mean, I'm so intrigued by what questions you come up with because I've always felt you were quite intuitive. And so having quite a in what's the word? Introspective personality that you do have, I think this will be quite an interesting conversation, and that's what I'm really excited to dig deep into. And I've never been interviewed myself, so let's see where this takes us.
Yes, cool. Let's go into it. I think to begin with, I wanted to ask more of a stereotypical question, which is just the nice little basis to start, and then we can lift off or go wherever that wants to go. But for anyone that doesn't have a whole heap of insight on who you are, what, how would you describe maybe part of your journey of getting to where you are right now with doing podcasting, and just tell me a little bit about you as a general.
Sure. Okay.
It's a
Well,
hard question to make into something short when there's so much to one person.
yes. Well, I'll do my best to keep this compact. So, with regards to podcasting, I did study journalism in my adolescence. And so I started with journalism. I did an internship at Channel 9, I think, when I was in high school. That was the first internship or work experience that I did and got a taste of journalism. And I really enjoyed the psychology and investigative journalism. And that is what I think has kept with me up until now. So it's something I've always really been curious about other people, learning about other people and speaking with other people. However, I never continued that path. I felt as though journalism was quite restricted by how much freedom of speech we had, and that is what made me reconsider my career path. So instead, I went down the path of, after my diploma in journalism, I then did an undergrad in media and communication, which broadened communication up a little more. And then I learnt digital marketing, and I did a whole heap of internships and work experience in PR firms and events and digital marketing. But then I saw a pathway towards websites. So then I was self-taught in web development, but full
Mm.
360. And now here we are today in interviews and journalism and podcasting. And so I thought, wow, this is an incredible space to be independent and really create it my own. And the reason why I started it is really because Beyond Wellness is looking at people who are creating something in this wellness space, but then seeking their stories and understanding what has helped these people in their journey in itself. Because to start something in this space, they would have had to gone through something themselves. Why
Mm.
are you so passionate about this? What have you gone through that forced you to look within? What have you gone through that forced you to help yourself? I want to know the raw stuff, and I want to get as real as possible. And so that's what this platform really is, to help educate other people and bring awareness to the modalities and practices that have helped people who have done it themselves,
Mm-hmm.
to then
Mm-hmm.
share this piece of education to then perhaps help someone else. And I've got a deeper story for myself, which
I'm
is
sure.
brought me here
Yeah,
today, but let's see how we go time wise. We may
yeah,
not touch on it just yet.
for sure, for sure. It's so interesting that our what we experience in different parts and different chapters and facets of our life somehow does a funny 360, or something from those earlier years is an integral part, but just in a way that we wouldn't have necessarily seen or been able to even have any idea of at that time. So sounds like that's been a really beautiful unfolding for you.
Yeah, it seems that
Yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah. And I guess I wanted to lead on though from a very general question about, what we just went through. What is it like aside from the narrative? So getting into that deeper layer of what is it like being Sharon? Um, if you were to describe, yeah, yourself as its own experience, what's kind of there with you at the moment?
Interesting question. Okay.
Maybe a
I would,
challenging question to think of on the spot, but
I'd say my personality is quite the chameleon.
Mhm.
I wear many hats, and I see the world as a stage, and you choose to be whichever character you choose to be. And I don't know if this is because of my star sign being a Gemini that I am, but I would say it's very much about adapting to my environment, which I've learnt over time as I evolve. It has helped me so much. So I see myself as a cartoon character, for instance, and I can be anyone I want.
Mm. Wow, yeah. You have the choice. You have the freedom and ability to choose, and you can be multiple things. You can be everything. You can be anything. That's a very powerful space to be able to chameleon and move in different scenarios as well to adapt. Mm.
But then it's being aware of yourself as well in the process, because you can lose yourself.
Of course. Yeah.
So it's learning to ground yourself in those moments, coming back to who you are. And I think this is an ongoing journey. I'm forever getting to know myself.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. Behind all those different, as you're saying, characters, who is the what is the golden thread that's continuing always?
Your inner
That's
child, perhaps.
yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yeah. It can be yeah, whatever that connection is for who you truly are, which we're
yeah,
always discovering through different versions of ourselves, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. And if you were to think into kind of your own timeline, uh, is there any particular moments or experiences that's really shaped you to being kind of where you are at this point in like a personal side of things? Maybe a certain travel or a certain course you did or someone you've met. Is there something that really stands out for you?
In terms of where I am now,
Yeah, just like who you are in, yeah, who you are at this stage of your life. Is there a certain chapter? Was it something to do with maybe specifically travel or a certain experience that you'd say is a big moment in your timeline?
oh yeah, yeah, for sure. And that would be when I was a teenager. Yeah, I I definitely give a lot of credit to my unfolding where I don't know how much to share, but
Tell us everything.
I don't know if we have enough time, Ruby.
Well, share whatever you feel is wants to be wants to be communicated right now.
Well, there's a lot to unpack.
Mm,
And I certainly went through a lot of hardship when I was younger. And in my early teens, from when I was 12 years old, there was a lot of um, living in and out of home and some domestic violence and overcoming
mm,
people's emotions around me and learning to find peace within. I was always seeking peace. And that's because of this chaotic upbringing. And from this experience is really what propelled me to find a place of safety within.
mm,
And it's, I was very reactive emotionally. And so learning to be aware of my emotions, I knew that I had to get a hold of them, otherwise, it would get a hold of me. And it was not practical to carry on the way that I did. So I didn't
mm,
realize me being reactive was not actually me being a certain way, but rather ignoring my body's response because I
mm.
wasn't aware of why. I
Yep.
didn't understand why, but it
Mm,
was my soul or my body telling me, communicating with me the entire time, which
mm,
is what I was suppressing. So
mm,
once I became curious because I wanted to change and I wanted to improve and self develop, I just became obsessed with self development.
mm. Finding
Um,
answers, trying to find, trying to seek, trying to understand.
oh, yeah,
Mm,
for sure. Yeah. So, I mean, Pilates was the first thing or practice that I found was really helpful because it was the movement of the body and the focus and discipline of the mind and the endurance as well that helped me to overcome a lot of my um, not underlying pain, but just the initial pain in that moment, something I can control. And that was me.
mm, mm,
And then using the breath and then understanding the layers of trauma and then understanding the layers of how emotions can be stored in our body and then understanding the energetic level of how we all work and then understanding the mind and understanding it's just continuous improvement, one layer after another.
mm. Yeah, because the more that we learn, the more there is to learn.
Oh
It's like
yeah.
the more we know, the less we know, and because you're opening up more and more and more infinite information and insight, and it just keeps going. I really love though just you expressing about Pilates because there's there's the outlook that Pilates is just doing movement on, like reformer Pilates as example. And it is very much like that at many studios, but it is your own personal experience. So if you use it in a way of self observation, of being in your body and noticing also how your mind is in those scenarios, where you see when you want to stop when you're feeling slightly stretched, or you're building that resilience and discipline, and being in that slightly uncomfortable states as well. Um, like anything we do, there is so much more depth and so much uh, wisdom and self knowing when we actually look and experience it in that way. So it's really refreshing to hear that about Pilates because a lot of people, I'm just noticing more in the yogi world anyway, um, kind of diss a little bit on Pilates in that sense. So it's nice to hear. I fully agree. It's a great
Yeah.
starting point to get into your body.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And reformer Pilates is quite a disciplined practice as well,
Mm.
thinking
Mm-hmm.
about the technique and the form and endurance and challenging yourself every time, mind over matter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's an art form.
It is, yeah, it is. And it sounds like just you're expressing before about your that's it's always the challenges is where our gifts and our biggest learnings that we're here to serve and share through are always they come through those most difficult moments, which I'm sure you can agree looking back at the things that you've just briefly mentioned and gone over. Um, yeah, and I can also relate to that as well. Is when I went through some more challenging aspects in my younger years, is like then there's this part of you that's like, I need to understand, I don't want to be this way, so what can I do to start to explore? So yeah, I really understand what that is like. And then you start to learn so much information about the nervous system, about how our bodies respond, and the mind body connection. And yeah, it's such a world that you have no idea until you go and start to find. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And who you were as a child is a DNA to show who you will be as an adult, because your core self will always remain. So, for example, I was always quite the protagonist, where I was quite introverted, but I felt I was quite, I loved making people feel included. I loved bringing people together. And that I still see till today,
Mm,
where I'll be outspoken, whereas others might feel more reserved to not speak their mind. But that is a common thread I see throughout. And so I'm learning to just be open to life's magic and
mm,
knowing that full circle moments are there for a reason, because who you are is who you were always meant to be.
mm. Yeah. The natural. It's a really interesting question, actually, which I'd love to get your thoughts on, because it's something that I actually, when I think about it, I don't really know where it sits. Is like, what is truly us in our personality and our traits, and what are just coping mechanisms or ways of dealing and handling certain environments that we've taken on. So what parts of us are us, and what is not, is what I'm always curious about. You know how some people might use humor to get it out of to make something feel more comfortable, or yeah, being the extrovert for whatever reason that does for their environments. Um, so yeah, it's really interesting. What's your thoughts on personality traits and traits that we naturally have in comparison to what we've maybe adapted or maladapted ourselves to?
That's an interesting question.
Yeah.
Well, I always go back to the thought that the hardest thing to do is to unlearn what we've already learned.
Mm,
Because when we learn a way of being, it's based on however we needed to learn in that moment, which will be different to what we've learned now and what we will need to learn in the future.
mm-hmm,
And so then that comes back to the story we tell ourselves and our identity. So now
mm-hmm,
I think, rather than this is what I've learned, I think, what is the best outcome that I need to happen out of this? So what do I need to learn, or what is the story I need to tell myself to get the best outcome?
mm. I find you have such a solution based mindset, which is a really great skill or just way of being, um, which yeah, obviously shows a lot of the inner work, but also how your mind also how you've cultivated and shifted your perspectives and the way that you work with your own thoughts. So yeah, I really recognize that in you, because I don't. Um, I recognize it in my husband as example, and I recognize it a lot in the masculine. I'm not saying you're masculine in any way, but in that sense. But it seems like you have a really clear way of working with yourself in that space.
Interesting. Well, I can think of the solution or I can dwell on the problem. I just see it
Mm-hmm.
as black and white.
Mm. Yeah.
And maybe that's because I've had to figure it out my entire, well, I wouldn't say my entire life, but I've had to figure things out. And I just can't allow myself to wallow in, I have to take responsibility for my life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Accountability. Yeah. Yeah. I'd say when I think of the feminine in as an energy, as a way of us, we can tend to be so, well, our as a feminine, our awareness is diffuse. It's everything. So it would have taken a lot of training and a very considered way of doing to be able to bring it into being a much more black and white, straightforward path forward process, because that's generally where we do need the more masculine energy to be and do and get to A to B. Because usually, I'm just speaking for myself, but also just I'm just thinking of other women that I know as well, of similar threads where there is the A to B, but we have to go through all the alphabet and look at all the different things, and to end up going where you know you probably needed to go anyway. So it's like it seems like you've had like a bit of a shortcut process. So if you could maybe write that the instructions down, that would be great.
No
Yeah.
shortcuts, no shortcut process here.
No.
Yeah. Oh, here's another way of framing it. We have this one life and we don't know what will happen tomorrow, so I have to act fast.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, I love that. I love that. It's just straightforward. It's kind of removing the overcomplication that things can be complicated, rather than we make things so can make things so complex when maybe sometimes it doesn't always have to be that way as well. Yeah. Now,
Whatever works for
yeah,
you.
yeah. I wanted to ask you some other things. Yeah, this could be nice. So, what's an idea or a vision or a drive that feels really exciting for you, but it's pressing up against your own edge? Whether it's maybe something that you want to experience or choose or do in career or do in some sort of form, like what feels like wants to happen, but feeling very uncomfortable in doing so at this current point.
I'd say at this point, really being honest with myself in being vulnerable outwardly.
Mm. So, there's a hesitancy to share a more of a vulnerable side of yourself.
110%.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I've had to keep up a facade. I feel like I have kept up a facade for so long. And there's an element that's aiming for perfection, but at the same time, there's an element of wanting to be my best version.
Mm.
But the real me is what I know what people will connect with the most, but I'm too afraid. I'm too
Mm.
afraid of getting raw and ugly and being judged, and I'm too afraid of letting people down in the process. And perhaps that's a people pleasing tendency of mine that I've created as a coping mechanism to avoid what I need to address or what I need to face head on. But I need to put my big girl pants on and just do it.
Mm. You mentioned um, about being like sharing your raw and most vulnerable side, and that's what you feel will resonate the most or connect you most to people and just a way of being. But then you also mentioned about being coming across as your you want to keep being your most improved self. Um, seems like there's like a discrepancy there of like what you think is the best version of you compared to what just authentically wants to be seen as without having to try. Would you say that? Yeah. Would you want to? What does that feel like? With the sense of being so like wanting to be seen in a certain way or appear a certain way, or the aspect that you mentioned about letting people down. Why do you think you being your most raw, authentic, un unput together self? Why do you think that would let people down or not be welcomed or received? Maybe. And this could be a moment to even feel into your body and just see, is there a certain what feels maybe unsafe, or yeah, if there's a word, what's there?
Pressure from, could be family,
Mm,
but it's not that are putting pressure on me. It's the pressure I put on myself with this idea
mm,
of what is expected of me. So
mm,
there's the element of, how can I talk about something that's so raw and close to me without framing other people in a bad light?
mm, mm, mm.
Because,
Yeah.
well, it's true. It's the honest truth. That's what makes me hesitant, because I love my family and I never want to say anything wrong or bad towards or against them. But it's had a big impact on me and my upbringing in good and bad ways. I shouldn't say bad, in good and difficult, challenging ways. And that's what's made me who
Self
I
growth
am
ways.
today. Self growth ways. So then there's a part of me that is mindful of sharing too much, but at the same time knowing that it's real and what has really molded molded
Mm,
me.
mm. Yeah, I can understand that. I was listening to something recently actually that about how gurus or how certain mentors might speak, and realizing that you actually don't know much about them, but they're always speaking in metaphors or speaking in different, trying to tell a story to actually still express the message or express like what it is that the wisdom or the insight or the teaching that wants to come through. How can you without it being personal, so that you can still keep that layer of respect for the other parties involved in what your experience is, but at the end of the day, it's your own human experience, and you're not saying anything in a way that is there to, um, be a defamation of someone else's character. So maybe it's about learning, oh, how can I share this without it literally saying, oh, my husband did this and this was that. Like, so I really, I'm there myself actually, um, in that consideration too. Like, it's very, very present. It's like, how do I want to, there is so much more authenticity and real life, real time that wants to come through an expression on, say, on social media, but it feels like, yeah, you're then sharing too much about someone else's life. So how do you do that? Because there's messages there and there's information there that could be really helpful for others if you were to express it. Um, so yeah, I hear you.
Thanks, Ruby. Yeah, it feels nice to be seen and heard by you. You, I understand exactly what I mean.
Mm,
But it's definitely been such a it shaped such a big part of my
mm,
childhood. So I know it's important,
mm-hmm.
and that's why I'm so passionate about this space. Not for
Yeah.
no reason, not because it's trendy, but it's because
Yes.
it's so deeply ingrained in who I am and why I care so much. And it's learning and trying to create a way that's true to me, a true expression of my creativity,
Yeah.
of getting that message across.
Yeah.
And I wrote something down today, and it was
Oh, please share.
unprocessed. I will. Unprocessed pain doesn't create strength. Emotional awareness does.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really important for people to learn how to help themselves emotionally and through self-development, because you're not only helping yourself, you are helping other people as well by being kinder to other people.
Yeah.
That's why inner peace is something I'm very passionate about.
Yeah.
So you're in peace with yourself and with each other.
Yeah. Peace. If we all were to be aiming for peace, life would be a little bit more simple. Things would be a little bit more graceful. I have two more just short ones, but not that this is a question, but it's more so just to piggyback off what you just shared about, or just a passing message about podcasting being trendy, and because it's exploded, this podcasting, this world of wanting to communicate and be heard and seen, but I think it's actually quite a beautiful thing because it can be on all the different layers for whatever type of conversations it could be, to deeper self development and experiential conversations and everything like that too. But it really does seem like the collective is wanting to connect, and more and more and more as the layers start to shed and fall off as a collective, it seems like that's why this space of communicating and working with tech in this way to be able to do this even right now. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to be doing this, being in different countries. So I think, firstly, thank you for being in the space that you are, and that you're wanting to put this magic and this support out to the world, and that it's serving you, but it's serving everyone that gets to even hear one little seed that just sticks with them. I know I've already received already so much from what you've just communicated. Um, so yeah, I know that this is exactly your path in what you're doing, and wherever that path will go, it's really exciting. Um, one actual last question I want to ask is, if you could broadcast one message to the whole world, they would all hear it. What would you like that message to be?
Be kinder to yourself and with each other.
Mm. Yeah. It's always the simple things, isn't it? It's the simple lessons. Beautiful. Well, Sharon, I feel like this is so short. I could do this and have so much more I'd want to be asking you and exploring here. So maybe we need to do a round two. But I want to thank you so much for being vulnerable in some moments and sharing a little bit of what your journey is and is continuing to be. And yeah, I've really loved switching spaces with you and being able to see you again on camera and do this. So I thank you for your time. Thank you for your
Oh,
words.
Ruby, it's always so nice to connect with you, and I feel like as soon as we do, we get on these really deep tangents, and it's always really, really refreshing. But thank you for jumping on this call and for initiating to go deeper again, and for leading this. I can get used to this of you
I'm so
being
glad.
in the question seats. Yeah, you did really well. So thank you so much. And um, yeah, happy to do it all over again whenever we get the chance to.
Yeah, I'm imagining or just wondering that you'll probably receive a lot of insight just switching that space and just thinking about how you might want to do things based on how maybe I communicated or didn't and this and that. So yeah, it's always fun to look at stuff from the different mountain peaks.
Absolutely,
Mm,
absolutely. No, you're right. And we need to do more of what scares us.
very much. Yeah, I know. That's the thing for me that pushes me all the time is to think, oh, that feels uncomfortable. We have to do that. So I think we're both on that page with the development, with the wanting to grow and transform. The parts that feel a little bit uncomfortable is where we should be walking, in safety towards, but seeing that it is actually safe to go into these spots, and it's all just, as you were saying, it's all our own perspectives and how we want to look and do things. So, yeah, thank you for
Absolutely. Well, thank you for encouraging me, and yeah, just being such a bringing out the best in those you come across.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you, Sharon. Well, I don't know if it's evening time your side.
11:37.
Oh, okay. It sounds like that's bedtime then.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Well,
Well,
thank you
yes, it
so much. Appreciate sharing that space with you, and we'll do this again.
sounds great. Can't wait.
Cool. Thank you.